When it comes to me, without a shadow of a doubt, my most gender euphoric moment was the day I had top surgery. I had it done in Brighton, on the south coast of England. I wanted to do something to celebrate my No More Boobies Day. My cousin Carla and I went onto the beachfront so I could bask in my glory. I threw my mum's makeshift binder into the sea and watched as it floated away. I've got a better understanding of pollution and the oceans now, so I can't say I would do that these days. But in that moment, all I could think was, I was so grateful I never had to wear one of those again. The tears ran down my face. Detransitioning. The primary fear for our trans kids is that they will change their mind, that they will grow up, realize it was just a phase, and regret the gender-affirming treatment they have undergone. It's a particular concern of parents, and I understand. Studies suggest that regret amongst people who have transitioned is relatively rare. In 2021, research pulled together the results from 27 studies with almost 8,000 teens and adults who had transgender surgeries. They found that on average, 1% of people expressed regret. Of that group, some only felt this temporarily, while a small number decided to have detransitioning surgery. American researchers collected survey data from 28,000 trans people and found that 8% took some kind of steps towards detransitioning. But of that group, almost 2/3 said they did so temporarily because of the pressure they felt, either financial, societal, or from family. While the National Center for Transgender Equality asked why people were choosing to detransition and found that the most common responses were a lack of support at home, problems at work, harassment, and discrimination. Of course, we have to acknowledge that detransitioning does happen. A lot of the fear around letting someone medically transition is the worry that they will change their mind and want to undo those changes. Understanding people who have chosen to detransition, and especially those who aren't happy with the way their life has gone, is vital. If we understand the process that led them to both the transition and the detransition, we may be able to prevent it from happening in others. When it comes to detransitioning, there are stages that are fully reversible and stages that aren't. Socializing as a new gender can be reversed, and once a person stops taking puberty blockers, regular service is resumed. If they've been on gender-affirming hormones, it can be difficult to fully detransition, especially for those who identify as transmasculine, because inheriting male features is harder to undo. It's slightly easier for trans women, as testosterone is such a strong hormone. If that person has had surgery, things get more complicated. In this circumstance, the next steps would have to be taken on a case-by-case basis, as everyone is different. But a lot of the surgical procedures would be difficult or impossible to undo. A person who detransitions will also have to come back out to their friends and socialize as the gender they were assigned at birth, again. I'm sure that this would raise some questions and lead to a few challenging conversations. The reality of life, though, is that sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we change our minds. There are people who decide to have an abortion and may regret it down the line. There are people who get married and end up in messy divorces. Of course, I'm not saying these decisions are the same, because they're not, but they are big life choices that are likely to have a huge impact. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have been able to take that step in the first place. Before we talk about blanket statements like protecting the kids, I do think we need to do our research and get our facts right. This is a sensitive and weighty issue that warrants sensitive and weighty conversations.